Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Blunt Muffin. Today I wanted to share with you my shipment guide for accounts between 2 and 20 mil cap. Today we'll be working on my alt, which is just above 2 mil. This is the lowest level I suggest you do drone shipping. Before this, personally, I don't feel it's worth it, and it's a little bit more difficult. We are going to have 7 offlane destinations. At 4 mil cap, you'll gain an extra lane and an extra planet, giving you 7 off-lane destinations. And at 8 mil cap, you'll gain 2 more lane hubs, so you'll only have 5 off-lane destinations. In order to show you what I'm talking about, I'm going to relink my warp lanes. I move them twice a day, so to get started, I'm going to shift them all over. Each of these is a pair of dark blue and light blue shipments. So that's how I sort everything. The dark blue shipments are going to start off lane. Here, if we open this up, the dark blue shipments are going to start off lane. The light blue shipments are going to go off lane at the end. The red shipments are always on lane, and the white shipments are going to go to our hub here. So if we link our lanes here, we can see that each of these is grouped into pairs that we go back and forth between. Because you can't keep everything on lane all the time without some other setups, this is the generally agreed upon way of making sure all deliveries are done on lane. I am going to be using 10 transports for this. Anything between 9 and 11 is good for this. These are extra because this is a storage alt, so we'll ignore them. If you have arts on any transports, just find a place for you to drop them down at when you're picking up shipments. To get started, we're going to send a single empty transport to the hub that we're going to be using for sorting. And then because of the way that these are all organized automatically, we're just going to be blind grabbing and sending everything over to our hub, except for the white shipments. I like to grab off of the lowers first and the trade stations. Drop off the white shipments. On the trade stations, we're going to be storing our dark blue shipments on them temporarily. So we're going to grab everything from underneath there. And then we're also going to need 1 empty transport to go on the back end of this. Now we're going to go through a process that I call drop sorting. It's a good compromise between not sorting at all and over sorting, which is a huge waste of time. We're just going to be blind picking up and blind dropping all of the shipments. And our goal here is to concentrate all of the dark blue shipments on as few transports as possible. After we've gone through the first time, we're going to go through a second time. All right. We have 2 full transports of dark blues. We're going to send them to our trade stations. Going to dump those off and then grab any other shipments that are not dark blue or white. Same thing up here. We are going to concentrate as many of these shipments onto as few transports as possible so that we can send these back out. I do the on-lane locations first. All right. Wait for all the drones to get back. Now we're going to drop a couple of drones. How many you need to use is going to be totally dependent on where you are in your progression. Start small. You can always add more. After we empty out some transports, we've got a couple other locations on lane that we're going to want to go and pick up before we do our next main gathering. So go ahead and drop a couple of drones. And then empty out your transports. Finish concentrating as many of the dark blues onto one transport as possible. And then I like to stick any extras over on this hub, just sort of out of the way. All right, make sure everything is empty. And then we're going to send these transports back out to the off-lane destinations. You can see I popped probably 1 or 2 many drones, so they're going to interfere with my next sorting operation, but we'll persevere. So we want to do the same thing where we're going to be blind dropping and blind picking up shipments. think that was all of the drones used up. All right. And then I like to keep a couple red shipments around on a separate transport right at the end, so that any of the other drones that I release will come back into this hubbed area. So we're going to let these drones run until they stop moving. Okay, so if we didn't keep those red shipments, these drones would be lost when we switch our lanes over. But by keeping a couple extra, we can draw them to their in-lane areas. And now we're free to pick up this shipments that we're storing on these hubs. Move all of these back. We're going to fill this up. And then once we switch our lanes, we can reconnect them. So we're going to disconnect each of the lane hubs in the pair. A lot of people will only do this once a day, but then you can't blind grab the shipments because they'll be out of order every other day. And to me, the slight hydro increase is worth the convenience. Okay, zoom in here, finish filling this up. Then we can activate our warplanes again. Make sure all of our transports are empty. And don't forget to go and grab any arts that you may have dropped. If we go into our economy tab, we can see that we've delivered everything. I had spent about 6K before I started doing this. So sub 30,000 hydro for 530 shipments. This is an incredibly efficient method. If you have any questions, you can find me in the Hades Star official Discord. I'm happy to help. Thank you. Bye.